Hey, it's Thursday. Time for an emerging from lockdown live stream every Thursday, 7 p.m. East Coast time. Let's turn this way. So I'm just doing a little warm up exercise here. The idea here is to keep your hands whatever height and just touch your leg to your hand. So if you can't get way up here, let's say, lower your hands down here and see if you can touch your shin. And try to do it without kicking violently. See if you can just raise your leg. See what kind of flexibility, mobility you got. You can do it to the side. Again, keep it way down if you need to. If you're still working on your balance, go slow, right? Try that. Matter of fact, speaking of balance, I'm going to show you a couple things from a routine I learned years ago that really digs into these little muscles here in your butt. I've seen great results from it, especially with older people, as far as balance and some strength goes. It doesn't look like you're doing anything, but believe me, if you stay in this and do the whole thing, it will be felt back here. So here's how it works. Now, this is a single leg exercise. So you might need to do this in shoes. Bare feet, balance is going to be more challenged. You also might need to put your, let's say, finger on a wall or something if your balance is not there, but see if you can do it without it first. So here's how it works. You do it with a straight leg. It's the standing leg that's the working leg. A lot of people think it's the moving leg, but that's not where you're going to feel this. Then, just small circles. Notice I'm not bending and flexing my knee. I'm just making circles in my right hip, all right? This is beneficial for almost anybody. I should even go slower. Small circles, 6, nope, lost my balance there, 7. You start moving your head around, you'll notice your balance gets much more difficult. Then reverse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then move your leg out to the side. 1. I do about 10 circles in each direction, but let's just take it down to 5 or 6 each way. There's 5. And then reverse direction. Oops, see, lost my balance a little bit. On the mats in bare feet, these mats are already a little bit soft, so balance is really challenged here. Then, try to do this without putting your foot down in between each move. Keep your leg off the ground, your foot off the ground. Take your leg behind you slightly and make small circles. 1. Don't try to rush through this. 2. You're doing this for a reason, and rushing through it thinking it'll get it over with is kind of defeating the purpose, right? 8, 9, 10, and 1, 2. Nice long leg moving from your hip. Starting to feel it in the supporting leg. The more you move this leg around, the more this balancing hip has to work. Those are just 3. Then there's actually a whole series. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can do up to 8 things on one leg. Believe me, 10 times each way. I've had people say, no, I got to stop. Whew, let me shake that out a little bit. Wow. And then they go back to it. So again, it's 10 circles, slow, small. I switch legs, as you see. And again, if you need to use your arms for a little balance, go ahead. But the idea is not to wobble all over the place. The idea is to stay stable and make this, this one, I'm looking at my reflection. Reverse image. Make this hip work. Take it out to the side. 1, 2, 3. I would recommend you try this and try it slow. Just the 3 positions. If you're in any classes, online classes, eventually you could learn all the different positions. But for sake of time, we're just going to do this. And then take the leg back. Oop. Try to do this with your knee straight. So a lot of time people go back and the knee starts bending and start doing this. Just take the leg back, right? You see it from the side a little better. How's this? Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Reverse the circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if you like to run or go out for a run, I would do those every day for a while and just notice what happens. Slow and do those 3 positions and just watch, notice what happens. Maybe nothing. Maybe over the course of 2 or 3 weeks, you might start noticing something. If you try it and you give it the good old college try, please let me know what happened. Anything happened, if you notice the difference, whatever, you can leave a note here on YouTube. In the comment section, you can leave a comment section on Facebook. You can drop an IM. You can email me. Just leave me a note. Okay. So I was talking to my mother today. My mother has knees that are not doing too well anymore. So getting up and down stairs is getting harder for her. She was out visiting someone in Wisconsin for the last couple of weeks. She came back, I think, Sunday. And it was colder out there. Her knees are bothering her more. There was a lot of steps in the house. So when I had been to her place during the summer, I was doing a crawling workout in the backyard for time. I think I was working 10 minutes of leopard crawl, I think it was, or something like that. So she saw that and she put 2 and 2 together. She couldn't get up the stairs, so she figured out she put her hands on the stairs. She would get up, well, go up the stairs like, let's say, these are stairs, right? You just get up the stairs like this and just keep going. Much easier on the knees, and I use that even sometimes. And it made me think of something as far as you out there watching. So not one person's exercise is sometimes another person's impossibility. You watch somebody do some highfalutin exercise, and there's no way you could ever do that. So you don't try it, which is wise. You don't try it like they did. However, there's many ways to skin a cat, as they say. Not that I would ever want to skin a cat, but you get what the saying means, I hope. How about this? There's many ways up a mountain, a lot of different paths. That's a little more PC maybe. So you can take a movement. Let's say it's a squat, and I've shown you this before. A lot of people with bad knees and problems have a lot of trouble. There's so much stiffness in their low back, their hips, but their knees hurt, their calves and ankles are tight. There's a lot involved, and to tell you the truth, it looks really ugly. Yeah. When somebody like that tries to squat. And it's really, is that exercising anymore, or is that just kind of doing stuff? Nothing wrong with doing stuff, but when you're exercising again, exercise has a purpose to it. Everything else, when you move, is recreation. We're talking about exercise area right now. You want to make your legs stronger. So, mosquito. So, this would be a squat. Here's what a more ugly squat would look like. Somebody might go like this instead, thinking they're squatting. You see my knees are barely bending. I'm just bending forward at my hips and my back, right? Or somebody might squat and their heels come off the ground like so, which is nothing wrong with that. But if it happens when you're trying to keep your heels down and you can't, that tells you there's a limitation down there somewhere. Or maybe the knees cave in or get crooked, or one knee caves in, or there's so many ways you could go. Now there's standing versions I could show you where we would just do holds and isometrics, which would work you very hard, but not everybody wants to do that. You can move. So my mother figured out this crawling. I showed you these elevated rocks. I forget, it was 2 or 3 episodes ago. When you take something like that that's vertical and turn it horizontal like this, all right, and do this is called the elevated rock, but basically what you're doing is squatting in a push-up position, right? This takes a lot of the problems away that I was talking about. It still works your thighs considerably, gives it a great workout, and we modified the exercise to work for you, right? There's many ways up a mountain, okay? So go back and watch one of the episodes where I show the elevated rock, because I want to get to the next thing. Now, a lot of people have trouble with the exercise that's an overhead press. So that would be something like, I'll do it on my knees for you. You have, let's say, dumbbells or weights or something, and you press it up and down. All kinds of issues with shoulders and stuff. Well, I'm going to show you one of my favorite exercises. In fact, about the only exercise I ever do anymore, with bands like these. These are rubber elastic bands, pretty thick, so there's a lot of tension to them. You see this one is smaller. It's got less tension. This one here, this purple one, is thicker and wider, got more tension. So I love the elastic bands because of the effect you feel when you're working it on your shoulders. So here's my favorite thing to do with bands. You can stand, oh, you still can't see. Let me adjust this camera again. Where's my professional camera person? Where are you? So stand on the band like so. Then we're gonna take the band with straight wrists, right, in your hand, just like so. Hands about the width of your shoulders or so. Then start pressing the band up. This band for some people would be very difficult. You'd be surprised how difficult this is. The band is going to try to whip your arms back down like this. Don't let it. Push up and lower down with control. You can pull the band out a little as you press right to left. If you want to add another component, it really locks you in toenails to fingernails and takes away a lot of the problems in the shoulders. There's more advanced versions of this. If you find that you are getting really strong with this, I mean, you could switch, right, to a single arm version, right? Like so. I like to put it where it's behind me. I like how that feels on my shoulder because it pulls the shoulder more vertical where I want it, where it should be. If you're pressing and your arms are coming out in front of you like this, that's going to stress your shoulder a lot. You try to press straight up, push your feet down into the strap, to the band. And that's how you use these. You can find these at performbetter.com. I will recommend you start with a lighter band. Don't get ambitious. Get the lighter band first. And if you don't want to get them from Perform Better, you can find them at several places nowadays. Again, drop me a line or note if you want to find out how to get something like that for yourself. So let's put this together into a pair just to finish off. If you don't have a band, which I would say you probably don't, I'll show you a different option. So first is elevated rock. This will take place at your squat. Starting here at like the top of a push-up. Rock back. Keep your head up. This is very important. And rock forward. Squeeze your thighs right here. Pull back. Come forward. Squeeze your thighs. 2. 3. 4. 5. Then let's stand up. Let's take this thinner band so you can see this work. Pop it here. Actually, let's do this version. Here's another way to do it, by the way. Put it under your knees. and press from here. This takes your legs out of it, throws it more, even more on this area and on your shoulders. This is a very light band, so it's really easy to press this. This might be a great one for you to start with if you haven't exercised in years. It should not be that challenging to start off. Give your inner tissue a chance to start lining up and getting used to this. Now, let's get back. Elevated rock could also be done with a crawl like my mother did, except you're not going upstairs now, unless you want to go upstairs. And by the way, when she went down the stairs, she did it backwards, right? Going down the stairs is often even worse on bad knees, right? It really hurts. So turn around backwards, put your hands down, and just slowly go down the stairs like this. Some people get a little nervous going backwards. Maybe turn the head so you can see, or just don't do it. But we're going to crawl here like so. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop. 5 elevated rocks. 1, 2. So we're working your shoulders, your legs, your thighs, really. 4. Your abs. 5. And crawl. You can crawl backwards. Now your shoulders get more of a workout. 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, elevated rock. You just do this for a few minutes without rest. Work up to where you can. Your heart rate will get up. You'll sweat. You'll work a lot of muscles. You'll feel energized. Then I'll hop up and do some presses to finish this. You see how arms are shaking around a little bit. That's the strap, the band. And good. So just from that little bit, I can feel my heart rate's up a little bit. If you tried it, you might notice you have wrist problems. Maybe not with that press, which is probably pretty good for your wrist, as long as you hold your wrist straight. Don't let the band pull your wrist back. Keep it under control. So strengthen through here too. But on the crawling and elevated rock, yeah, you might have trouble with your wrist. We would have to go to forearms and a different version for that. So again, going down the stairs, you could probably figure out even a slow version of that. That'd be a little hard though. There's a crab walk version, all kinds of different ways. So anyway, the purpose of this was just to put the idea in your head that there's not one way to do things, that there's a lot of different ways to move and get the same benefit or slightly different benefit, but along the same plane, right? Strengthening the legs and the thighs as you would with something else that you can't really do anymore, or you're really having trouble with, or it's just not working. Sometimes just change the orientation. If you're vertical, make it horizontal and face the ground. If you're horizontal, sometimes you got to come up, like maybe a push-up bothers your shoulders. You come vertical and use this belt, the strap, the band. Sorry, we also use belts and straps in here. I get them mixed up. And that might feel much better on your shoulders. Often the bands feel a lot better than a dumbbell or something like that if you want to use external resistance. So take all this. I love that little pair I just did. Try that crawling with elevated rock. Don't even do anything else. Just do those two over and over again and see what it does for you. And that's it for today. I'll see you next Thursday. And remember, let's tip this back so I get this right. Let's you and I do one thing each day to be younger than we were last year. I'll see you next time.